Hi, friends, and welcome to another Strange Times poetry broadcast. I'm coming to you live from the Poetry Bookshelf, right here behind me, to read you three uplifting poems. If you haven't seen this broadcast before, every night at 8 p.m. Eastern, I read three uplifting poems, one by a famous poet, one by a friend, and one by myself. I hope you will join me for many nights to come. Please follow me on Facebook. Um, Strange Times Poetry Broadcast to get all the updates for when we're going live. And if you have uplifting poems, please send them to me because I'd love to feature you. All right, so the three poems that I'm looking at tonight, the theme is comeback. Um, and so each of these poems, in their own way, um, talks about a comeback. The first poem that I'm going to read is called Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. And I think this is sort of like a comeback against the weight of history. Um, I don't know. I don't know if we are ready for a comeback right now in the world, but I feel like I need to at least hope for one in the future to sort of imagine forward when there will be that comeback. And so here we are, still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. This poem is so inspiring. Even just reading it, I feel like, come back. It's very powerful. All right. In this next poem by, by Jennifer Martelli from her book, or I don't think it's from her book, but her newest book is My Tarantella. She's a poet from the Boston area who I know through Mass Poetry, and I'm very excited to read her work for you tonight. This poem is about, well, you'll see what it's about. Poems aren't about anything. No, I'm just kidding. But I think in this poem there's a comeback from a panic or from a health problem, and it's sort of the coming back is through counting and through breathing. You'll see. In the North End, Boston loomed, lit, a wasp nest ignited and inhaled. My friend's lungs stopped for 5 sweet panic seconds. 2 millennia ago, Sappho said in some future time, someone will think of you. I said, count. In 1919, the brick streets in the North End flooded with 1 million gallons of thick blackstrap molasses. My friend's big red heart beat, 4 valves vibrating, a mandolin tremolo. Count. The asters, the Pleiades. So it's interesting because I think a poem I read previously, also Charles Wright poem, also referenced this line by Sappho: in the future time someone will think of you. I think we're all trying to imagine that future where someone will think of us, and maybe we can think ourselves into that future as well. All right. And the last poem that I'm going to read is by myself, and it's called On Forgiveness. I think I'm interested often in forgiveness in my work. I think it's come up before, just because I think it's a type of comeback, to be able to let go of something, to be able to change a relationship, is is an amazing comeback. But not just of one person, but of both people in their relationship. On forgiveness. I sense it has no color, like breath, this final room I leave you in. Did you know you've been with me for 10 years? A botfly burrowed in the skin, a note sewn into the front of my dress. I leave you here, not a pile of ash or a moth unfolding from the flesh, my beloved, in the seam unraveled. So this poem references one of my favorite images of the botfly, which is like a type of bug that burrows into the skin and then has a larva that can turn into some sort of fly. Um, this is sort of saying it's the well, it both is and isn't. With holding a grudge, it does kind of live in you like some sort of parasite for a long time, and something can grow out of it. But also, I think the poem really moves from anger to the thing that you've carried a long time becomes your beloved, and also becomes the seam unraveled that sort of finally just release. um, I hope you're able to find those moments of letting go, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay sane, and good night. Bye.